Hey, what's up? What's up, YouTube? This is King Gio in the house. All right, let's go. I'm live. It says here you are live, King Gio. Ooh, okay, King Gio, you're a month. The message will be public. All right, how you guys doing today? It's King Gio in the house. Oh man, this internet is slow. Wow. Let me see how it is. Wow. Let me see if I can change the band. Strong. Trying to see if I can connect it with another one. Hold on a minute. You guys see me right? Let me know if you're not. It was buffering earlier on. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna see, make sure I can use, maybe I can use my 5G. All right, so I'm gonna get some people on because several people have been asking me because I did a post earlier on where you can buy a home using your SSI um or your government or your site or your disability, which you can. Okay, so I'm gonna let some more people come on and I'll let you know. So before all this happens, I want you guys to know, please subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification button so it can the notification bell, so let you know when I can upload a video. Also, I got super chat, so you can donate some money to super chat. You can do it there. So don't forget to subscribe. You can do super chat. Okay. I'm going to also give you my cash app. Don't forget, people, that on February 14th, I'm giving up for women's only. I'm giving out $100. So you have to be new to the channel and you have to subscribe. I say King Gio, I subscribe. So I have several girls, several women who have subscribed. So let me see here. All right. So this is gonna. I'm gonna give you my cash app. So if you guys would like to donate, I appreciate it. You know that everything that I make when I made Call of Duty, that was money that you guys donated. Some money like the Christmas money that I gave last year, that was my money. I gave that money away. I got a bonus, so I decided to give people money. I take nothing. I take nothing with me because when I die, I can't take it with me. Geo, this is my cash app. Okay. Now, let's go. We're 2 minutes into this, so let's go a little bit further into how you can do this. Okay. So there are government programs out. Every state has them, even in Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the U.S. territories have the same program because these are federally funded programs. So you have your common one, which is FHA, and you have USDA. There's a difference between those two. Yes, there is. So okay, so you can, on both of them, you can get your house with SSI or your disability check. Now, a lot of people don't tell you. You may think that, okay, I'm getting SSI, so how can I get a house? It all depends on your debt to rate ratio. You cannot have, let's say, credit cards that amount to $3,000 that you're paying a month, and you only have $700 in unemployment. I mean, in SSI, you can't do that. That's an example. That math doesn't even make a difference. Okay, I'm giving you more realistic. Your SSI check right now. What's SSI now? 790 something, right? So you get 790 something a month, but your ratio, you have let's say $800 on bills. Somehow you're getting $9 somewhere, right? So your ratio of debt cannot be greater than what you make. So if you owe, let's just say you owe nothing, and you're getting $791 a month, and you're paying your rent, that's okay because they don't count that. They're counting, okay, fine. I'll give you an example. I helped this person. I helped this couple out. They had her and her son had SSI. The one thing with her son is that her SSI, her son or the daughter, whatever they can be, your son or daughter, you could do it alone too. I'm talking about this particular case. The daughter had SSI it's a lifetime thing that she had it. So they're gonna count that. They want you to have SSI for that second person to have the SSI for at least 3 years. It's going to be for the next 3 years because they want you to compound 3 years. So that person, her daughter had SSI was a lifetime thing. So they got her SSI, which is seven at that time was 780 something. So you have her SSI, which is 780, and her SSI, which is another 780, right? So you're talking about 1560 between both of them, and I think their credit card debt was maybe like $300 or $400 a month. That's it because she was living in a program in New York, and the program was paying her rent. So even the program was paying rent, and even if she was paying her own rent, for them it doesn't make a difference because that's something different. That's not like a credit card that you have to keep paying monthly and blah blah. You're right. You're right. You have to pay monthly, but they know that, so they consider that as if she's paying $900 a month, they think okay, if she's paying $900 a month and she got $1,500 in income, so that could be that to us that's like a mortgage to us. So that's okay. So they basically care more about how you're gonna pay them, not how you're gonna pay the other credit card, how you're going to pay them. So that's 1560. Out of 1560, they only had like $300 worth of debt. That's all. So the rest they had it on their own. So what I helped them with, I got them. I helped them go through a USDA loan. They went through USDA. The difference between USDA and an FHA loan is that USDA, they want you to get your house in a rural area, like in the mountains or outside the city, because they want to move. They want people, to move out outskirts. They want to populate those places. So you can get a house. You can get your house with a USDA, but you cannot get it. Like say, if the USDA wouldn't. I'm from New York, so the USDA wouldn't work out for the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. No, because that's a city. If you go upstate New York and you go to not even Albany or not even Syracuse, that it wouldn't work there. But if you go somewhere to Schenectady or something like that, that's real rural. It's our woods and all that, then you'll qualify. It's an urban area. They want you to move to an urban area, so you qualify for that with the USDA loan. And with the USDA loan, just as with the FHA loan, that you don't have to put any money down. If the house, put it this way, if the house that's valued, the house that's being valued is when they do the appraisal, and the house is appraised for more than what it's worth, and then what they'll do is that they'll roll in your payment. They'll roll in your down payment with that. So it's not a big deal. I'll give you my example. I got myself a USDA loan because I came down from New York and I moved somewhere in North Carolina in an urban area. And my mortgage here is $492. All I gave my down payment was $597. And my house is $72,000. Yeah, I know the election is weird. So the loan was for $72,000. So the house when they did the appraisal, it was worth 73. So I rolled in my down payment, which was 3%. I rolled in that down payment with the mortgage, and my mortgage is only $492 a month. That's including the insurance of the house. That's including the tax of the house. My tax is only $522. So if your house is appraised more than what it's worth, and then you don't have no down payment. Okay, well, because it's rolled into one. It's rolled in, or you can have the owner pay 3%, or can pay the whole entire 6% of the down payment, because the most they can pay is 6%. Is the owners. So you could say, do you pay 3%? You pay 3%. The bank pays that. So so that's how it is. So if you have a set income of SSI, and you're getting 790, and you got no bills. Let's say you got no bills, right? You get yourself a mortgage broker. Tell him or her, that you're getting SSI and all this kind of stuff, and then boom, they'll make a plan for you. They go, okay, fine, this is what we can do. Try to get this house. You budget yourself. You know that you have to get a house that's got to be worth 50, 60, 70, or $80,000, because you're only getting $791 a month. So you got to get a house that's worth that much, because then the mortgage will be low. It'll be 400, 300. It all depends on the house. It all depends on the taxes of that house, because the tax of the house, the mortgage could be 290 in the rent and in the and and you could have your 290, right? Let's say mortgage is 290, but your insurance is like, I mean, your property tax is like 2,000, $3,000, and then wow, what credit score has to be? Well, with FHA, your credit score can be as low as 520, believe it or not. But at 520 with FHA, they will ask you to put 10% down payment. But if your score is 580, 590 with FHA, you're good. If your score is 620 or 630 with USDA, then you're good. The good thing about it is that, let's just say you got, look at that. So I said actually it's 794. So with a 794, you can get an FHA or a USDA. And the good thing about it is that with an FHA loan, let's just say you have your SSI money, right? And you get approved for $100,000 loan. And so this is what you do to make your money work. You buy a multi-family home. In other words, I'm buying a home that has two sides or three sides or four sides. I live in one because on both programs, you have to live in it for 1 year. That's automatic. So you live in one house, right? And you rent out the other unit. So that unit that you're renting out, it's paying your mortgage. And if you have 3 units, so and then that 3 units, you're renting out 2 units and you're taking one. So you're living rent free. Those 2 units are paying for you. So that means one unit it's paying for your mortgage, and the other unit is passive income. So you can take that to pay the water, the light, whatever you want to do with it. But that's possible. So that's how you can do it with the FHA. With USDA, you cannot do that. But with the FHA, you can buy a multi-family home, and that's how you can live rent free and not even worry about where my mortgage is coming from, because somebody else is paying off your mortgage. Now, once you leave that home, if you want to leave it after a year, you can rent the place where you're staying at, where you're living at, and you can go get yourself another FHA loan, or you can get yourself another USDA loan. You get yourself an FHA loan, or you can refinance that one. All right, you refinance, and you get yourself another house, and you can keep on doing that. But Zad, FHA and USDA loans are for houses that are already built. If you want if you want to build a tiny house, there are programs out each state has. I'm not sure each state, but some state they're doing with tiny homes because of the homelessness. So they want to provide tiny homes for people who are homeless, which I think is a great idea. Um, if you want to do that, a tiny home, I suggest that you get in contact with there's a charity called I forgot the name of it. I'm thinking about the back of my head. Um, I'm gonna look for it, and you can build. They help you. They help you build. I'm gonna look for it right now, so I can give it to you, because they're the best one to do that with. Um, okay, man. Habitat for Humanity. No, you say Habitat for Humanity. Wait, hold on. Yeah, yeah. So Habitat for Humanity. That's also a great program to have. I forgot about that. Habitat for Humanity is, even if you have a low credit score, they help you gain your credit score. And each state is different. You have to do community hours. You have to help build another home, and then they build your own. So, like New Jersey, like New York, you have to have, I think it's like 600 or something, 600 some working hours, volunteering hours. While in New Jersey, you only can have like 300 or 400 hours. But you build someone else's home. They help you build your credit. They help you how they'll show you how you can maintain a budget, which that's very important, because if you're a first time home buyer and you're living on a tight budget, you have to be frugal. Meaning that going outside and buying everything outside and buying this and buying that, you cannot do that, because you have to have save you want to save up your money. So when rent comes, I mean, when your mortgage time comes every first of the month or whatever, you have that mortgage money. You don't want to, at least for the first year, trying to be as frugal as possible. And then once you learn to get into that habit, and you can go and spend. So, like I was saying, so for to building your own tiny home, I think the best way to go is by Habitat of Humanity, um, and you can go to your different website of your own state. And a lot of states right now are having a lot of tiny homes being built. Detroit's one of them. I saw some in Las Vegas, but those tiny homes are expensive too. I seen some of them go as far as $70,000, $80,000 just for maybe 600 square feet. But it's good. It's good. That's the not too much space. You don't have to worry about cleaning too much. You don't have to worry about doing this. It's very maintained. So that's what we do. So if you have so to get it for SSI, if you have or your disability, if you're if you don't have if your debt is greater than your income, then they're not going to do. They want your debt to they want your debt to the rate the debt to income ratio to be fair, meaning that you're going to have enough money to pay what you owe, and you'll be able to pay you'll be able to pay what you call it, you'll be able to pay the mortgage. There's also a lot of people don't know about this, but I'm going to tell you. You know that if you're getting Section 8, you can talk to your Section 8 caseworker, and Section 8 will also help you buy your own home. In other words, so that money that Section 8 is putting for an apartment or for a house to get to somebody else, they will help you and they'll pay that. A lot of people, Section 8 is not going to tell you that. The government's not going to tell you that, but it is true. You could get a home. You could buy your home with Section 8, but you have to talk to your Section 8 representative or whoever your caseworker is, and let him or her know what programs do they have, what are the steps, not what program, sorry, what step it is, so you can start taking steps. Down payment program, guys. Never be afraid for a down payment, because there are programs. Each state has a program. There's one called Chenoa, and the Chenoa program is a good program that they will give you up to $8,000 for your down payment, and that loan is forgiven after 3 years. If you make 36 consecutive mortgage payment on your 36, your 37, your that loan is paid off. You don't have to pay it back. Even if you get the loan, even if you get the loan, doesn't mean you're paying the loan. No, you're not. They keep it like that. And then after 3 years, you don't have to pay back. Okay. But if you move, or you decide to move before those 3 years are up, then you're going to have to pay that money back. But as long as you're in that house for 36 months and you pay 36 consecutive months in a row, the Chenoa program will not take away that money. They'll forgive you that loan. So that's the Chenoa program. So every state has the Chenoa program, and every state has other programs. Here in North Carolina has a program that they'll give you $8,000. But the catch here is that you would have to stay in your home for 15 years. Most people, when they buy their first home, statistically wise, they stay in their house maybe 5-6 years, and then they leave. But you have to stay in your house for 15 years. I want to say hi to Princess Kami, W. Shaw, Alexi, thank you. Zad, you're welcome. So you have to be there for 15 years. And once you're there for 15 years, on the 10th year, they're reducing your payment. Not your payment, they start reducing it by 20%. So you owe $8,000 on the 10th year. So year 11th, year 10th, you'll be owing $6,000. And like that until you get to the 15th year. And once you get to the 15th year, then it's forgiven. But you have to live in the house for 15 years. And like I said, a lot of people don't live in a house, their first home, for 15 years. At least nowadays they don't. And if you leave, then you have to pay that loan. So, good. If you're a good Samaritan and you want to do good, and you want to help people out, and you want to have your own home at the same time, Habitat for Humanity is a good program to be with. Every state has one. Every state has a Habitat for Humanity. You just got to go into their website and find out what are their requisite, what it entails, because every state, every Habitat for Humanity has a way that you can the hours to differentiate. Also, I want to say the FHA last year, you don't have to have a house. With FHA, you can buy a condo. You can buy a condominium with an FHA loan. Yes, you can. And last year, it was very selective condos that they had. They had certain rules, but now they they've taken most of those rules out and they've expanded it because they want more people to buy. Me personally, I mean, if I would have known this before, I prefer buying. A lot of people say, okay, you rent you rent the house, and you don't have to worry about repairs, but that's the minor thing of the home. You get insurance, but that's the minor thing in the home. And some people say, but if you mortgage it, it's not your house, it's the bank's house. But that's not the point. You renting, it's not your house. That's the owner's house. So what's your point? But at least here, if you want to put up a pool, you can put up a pool. If you want to break down a wall, you can break down a wall. If you want to cut down the tree, you cut down a tree because it's yours until you pay for it. Yeah, but you don't see it as the bank's house. You see it's your house. So I'm always advocate for people that if you're in a Section 8 program or if you're in a project, so save your money and get your house. Because the more you put into the house, the more value the house gets. It's not like a car. A car depreciates after a while. You buy a car that's worth, and you pay $40,000 for it, and 2 or 3 years, it's not going to be worth $40,000 no more. Once you open that door, once you put in that key, the value of that car already went down. I don't know about how much, but it went down. You know what I mean? But it's not like a house. A house, you buy it. If you add a room to the house, boom, you got equity. If you put a new kitchen or you fix the kitchen, whatever you put into it, it appreciates, the price appreciates, and that's what you want to do. And getting your own place is good. I don't. You want to rent because it's closer to your house. I mean, closer to the job. That's cool. But at the end of the day, you really do want to rent. When you rent, I mean, you really do want to buy. And when you do buy a home, just always don't look at the price of the home. Always look at the property tax, because the property tax also dictates how much you're going to pay as mortgage is concerned. You understand? So if you get something like mine, my property tax is only $592. This year it went down. The property tax went down. So as the property tax goes down, your monthly payments goes down too. The property tax goes up, then your mortgage goes up. But how much, I don't know. But that's the way it works. So you could get a home using your SSI money if that's the only means of income. And then think about it. If you're paying, because there's some places when you rent and they just say you live in the projects or whatever it may be, and they say, okay, you got SSI, you have to pay 30% of your rent. I mean, of your SSI. That means you have to pay out of $700. You got to pay 30%. That's $2,100. I mean, $210 that you got to get out of your pocket. And think about it. You go to a place where you think you will never move, and you take your SSI with you, and you get a house for $30,000, $40,000, and they have them, guys. They do have them. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and you're paying $400 a month in mortgage, but it's your home. Like I said, you could do a condo too. Condominiums are done with the FHA. So it all depends where you want to live at. It all depends where you want to go to, stuff like that. But it can be done. It can be done. We live in an age where everybody gets scared. To own a house, you got to put 20% down. You got to do this. You got to do that. No, you don't have to put 20% down. 20% down is good if you have it. Just so you don't have to pay a PMI. Your principals. Because most of the houses, I mean, at the end of the day, this house $70,000 in 30 years. You know how much I'll be end up paying if I don't pay it off before that? It'll be double, because at the beginning, what you're paying is principals. I would say $310, $315 out of the $492 goes on principals alone. So I've learned that if you take 1 month out of every year and you pay off the principal, just the principal alone, that reduces the amount of what you owe in years. So there's a lot of things that you can do. But like I said, it's very important that when you do get your first home, that you're frugal with what you do. And you don't have to be stingy, but you have to be frugal. The things that you used to like, you can't do no more. Hey, Princess Cameron, you still there? I got all these hats. I gotta put all my hats up on this wall because I moved my room. So Princess Cameron earlier said, man, this election stuff is weird. What's weird is the person who ran I mean, the person who was president and lost, the little crybaby. What do you guys think? What I mean, let's talk. This is a live. Let's talk. What do you guys think about the elections? What you guys thought about it? I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and I respect that. Always will. But it comes a time in a man's or a woman's life that you got to learn how to say enough is enough. I lost. I lost. I won. I won. Alrighty, guys. That's going to be my video on that. So I appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions on buying your first home, how to buy your first home, or do you want any recommendations on your first home, who you should go to and stuff like that, please let me know. And I always, anyone who knows me, whoever leaves me a message, I always return their message. Whenever you leave a comment, I always reply, good or bad. It doesn't bother me because you guys are the ones that got me to where I am now, right? But I always reply with a thank you, subscribe, and if you ask me a question, I always answer you back. Some people have gotten dumb with the questions or their comments and blah blah blah, but I always reply with a thank you, whatever the case may be. They curse me out. Well, I haven't gotten cursed out yet. I've gotten called on Facebook. I took somebody out because they called me a fucking moron. Because my views are not that person's views. Isn't that the best thing about being a human being, that you can, at the end of the day, you can have a good dialogue and you're still friends? He wasn't my friend. I don't even know him from a hole in the wall, but that's what I was saying. So, who's on here? Whoever's on here, say hi. Say hi, say hi, say hi, so I can know. Don't forget, guys, I'm doing super chat, so you can want to donate super chat. Just hit that dollar sign that you see in the bottom. You can hit that right there, or you can do my Cash App. What you put was $ GO6971. Hey, Zod. So you're thinking of you want to buy a tiny home. I've seen shows and programs on tiny homes. I think it's a great idea. I think every state should do that. You should, especially for homeless people. I mean, I have this big thing about homeless people. I have a pet peeve about a lot of things, but homelessness is something to some people. It's something that they became homeless because they had no other choice. Life became so rough that they lost their job. And some other people are homeless because they choose to be homeless. They don't want to go to programs. They don't want to go do this. They don't want to put in the work. But to those who have lost a lot because of things were out of their control, things they can't control, those are the people who I sympathize with. So I think that tiny homes are great. If you give someone a tiny home, whether it's temporary, that person can feel empowered of their life, and say, now I got my life back, and that is a great thing to do. But Florida is against everything. Florida is a state that I do not like. Too many politics involved. Too much politics are involved in it, and you've always had a Republican governmentship there. And it's just terrible. It really is. Florida was good back in the days for people who retired. The money went far. It's just like this. I think it was in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. I read something around 8 or 9 months ago where people were going solar. Solar companies were making money in Las Vegas. They were making money, and the electric company, the state of Florida, saw that their company was not making any money, so they took away. I mean, they taxed the crap. That's just what they did. They taxed the crap out of the solar company. And the solar company had to go bankrupt because they couldn't afford the taxes. Just because Las Vegas was feeling that they were being shunned out because people were going solar. This tells you how petty some states are. Sometimes you just want to go and you want to get off the grid and you want to live in a mountainside and just be left alone. You have that right. You know, so it is what it is sometimes. And sadly, Florida is against tiny homes. I think that'll be a great idea for any state to have, especially when you have a big population where you have a lot of homeless people. You know how empowering that would be to someone who's homeless, someone who has had everything. And when I mean everything, I mean health, your house. I don't care how big or small your house is, but everything to someone means something different to everybody else. Um, so that person had everything, and that person loses everything through no fault of their own. They're in the street. They don't know when the next meal is going to come to. And if for someone or a company or whatever to give them a tiny home and say this is your home, whether it's forever or it's for the time being, you know how great that person will feel. And that person can get their stamina back up, their feelings back up, and go, you know what? Now I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to go do this because I have somewhere to go. I have somewhere I can lay my head at. I can see, somewhere I can think. When you're in the street, you're thinking about when you're going to get your next meal. Where are you going to sleep? Can you sleep? Because a lot of things happen. I've been in the street, so I should know. So a lot of things go through your mind, and that helps. That little tiny home, that little 600 square feet or that little 500 square feet of a home provides shelter for that person, provides some perseverance for that person, provides endurance for that person. It provides confidence, which is very important because a lot of people lose a lot of confidence when they become homeless because they say that people are going to judge me differently because I'm homeless. I can't do this because I'm homeless. I can't do that because I'm homeless. But a tiny home would take away all those barriers for that person, and you will see that person. Um, I believe that person will go forward and will succeed. I mean, I saw this camp in New Jersey one time on TV. How these people lived in the woods because they got kicked out, okay, maybe, and they have a whole entire community with people in camps. I'm not talking about campers, RVs. No, no, no. I'm talking about tents. Yeah, I know, son. I'm sorry. And Ray Roberts says what would be a big help would be to let the people who are on the hood work on the ownership of a house. They do this to the government, garner incentive the way homeless people could be. Yes, I agree with you, Ray. But you know what happened with that? A lot of people. I'm going to give you an example. In New York with NYCHA, that was a proposed. If I'm not mistaken, I want to get this right. But anyway, I don't know who it was it. But in New York, NYCHA, which is the biggest project there is, propose that to the people. You can buy your own. You can buy your own apartment. Let that apartment that you've been living there for so many years, it can be yours, and you just pay a certain amount of price. In Puerto Rico, they did the same thing. They tried to do the same thing, but what happened was this: that when the government says, "I want to sell you this apartment, but you have to take care of maintenance," they said no. No, I don't want to take care of maintenance. So they want to have the cake and eat it at the same time too. I'm in favor of what you're saying, Ray. I believe in that 100%. If you listen, let me tell you something. I lived in Nigeria with my wife and family, and we went to Puerto Rico. I'm born and raised in New York, but I went to Puerto Rico in 2004, and I stood there for 12 years. I met my wife there, and we came to New York. She's never been to New York. She's never been to the States. But anyway, so in our transition, we go to a night in Staten Island. Now, let me tell you something, people. The apartment was nice. Don't get me wrong. It was 3 bedrooms. It was one, two. Yeah, we had 3 bedrooms. Now, check this out. You didn't pay no light. You pay no rent. People who worked and so they had to pay 30% of their rent. Yeah, you had people who did pay rent, but for the majority of it, you pay no rent, you pay no light, you pay no water. You could have up to 2 air conditioners in your home running all day and all night long. You pay $5 a piece for those air conditioners, right? So now you got no water, you pay no water, you pay no light. You can have a washing machine, but you cannot have a dryer. All this for free. And when you take these people, you tell them that you want to give that to them and they can own that place, they will tell you no. Most of them will tell you no. Some others would say yes. Some of them would say yes if you do this cleaning up to do, because a lot of people that live in the projects in New York are not the cleanest people there is in the world. You got some immaculate people out there, you really do. But the projects has become so festive with young people, with young men and women, single mothers, stuff like that, that they're giving these apartments away. And when you're giving something away, they don't know how, they don't appreciate what they have. So you see the buildings dirty, the buildings are peed on, out people throwing garbage outside the window. Now you go to Chinatown, New York, you don't see that in Chinatown, because those are different people. Now, if you go somewhere in the Bronx, you see that in the Bronx. You go somewhere in Staten Island where they have several projects. Some projects may be cleaner than others. Some may be immaculate. Some of them may be dirty. It depends where you go. But that is an awesome idea. If in the hood they can buy their own apartment, that would be great, because that would take you know how much that would take away from the government spending. That would do a lot. That would put even more money into the government's pocket so they can do other things with it. And so, those are all great ideas that you and I have, Ray, but the people in the Senate won't tell you that. I agree with you, Benny, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it. There is a law. There's like the hoarder law, that if you find a place that's abandoned, and even if it's owned and it's abandoned and it's obstructing the surrounding area, you can go and you can apply and they can give you that home, as long as you're willing to fix that home. So some states do have that. And Benny says, I'm sure every state has abandoned buildings. So all these millionaires and billionaires that donate to help their taxes, why not build up those homes and use them for homeless people? Everyone wins. It's true. I agree, but they're not going to do that. All right, Square. Okay. So they're not going to do that. You look at the Jeff Bezos, even the squatters. Yeah, I know the squatters. Look at the Jeff Bezos. Look at the Bill Gates. Look at the Whartons that own Walmart. Do they go around buying buildings? These are people that don't pay taxes. Now, mind you, these are people that do not pay taxes. This is something that gets me bad about Republicans and Democrats. Democrats did bitch about that, and this is the honest truth, that Donald Trump and people like Donald Trump don't pay taxes, right? That's what Democrats say, right? Shit. So the Democrats are not paying. These people are not paying the taxes. So why don't you close that loopholes? You're welcome, Zod. Why don't you close that loophole so they can pay taxes? But why they don't do that? Because they themselves are rich. And if they close that loophole, even for Democrats, if they close that loophole, that means they too are going to have to pay rent. They too going to have to pay taxes. So they talk out of their mouth, oh, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump didn't pay taxes. Jeff Bezos didn't pay taxes. This person didn't pay taxes. This company didn't pay taxes. Well, this company didn't pay taxes, and Jeff Bezos didn't pay taxes, and Donald Trump didn't pay taxes. Then you know what you do? Then you close that loophole and let everybody pay taxes, because it's not fair that you and I are working. We pay federal taxes, and they don't. But being that closing that loophole won't benefit them, that they won't do it. They'll give you a good song and dance, but they won't close it. Why? So if you're gonna bicker at me from here, don't be saying, these people don't close, they don't pay the taxes. Come on. So just don't look. Nancy Pelosi is worth $22 million, $23 million. Mitch McConnell's worth $30 million. Mnuchin is worth $500 million. There are congressmen and congresswomen who are multimillionaires. They say, I don't like multimillionaires in Congress. I don't like multimillionaires as presidents. I don't like rich people taking office at all, especially people who never worked in their life for what they have. If Benny Gonzalez here, and I see him that he struggled in his story, that he went from here, he was in a project, or he lived in the hood, or he lived wherever, and he lived in a trailer, and he became successful. He built his own business, and blah 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 blah, and he ran for office. I would vote for him because he knows what the struggle is. He knows what it is to wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning so he can go to work for minimum wage, to come back home to do whatever it is that he has to do with his family, then to go to sleep, then to wake up in the morning to do the same thing over and over again. These rich people, they don't know that. They pretend that they do. They want you to believe that they do, but they don't. You know. So I don't vote for people like that because they don't know my struggle. They don't know what your struggle is. They're complaining about a stimulus package. The Republicans are complaining about $1.9 trillion. You know what? The debt is at the national debt is at $29 trillion. To add $1.9 trillion is nothing because we're never going to pay $29 trillion. Yesterday, I did a study. Yesterday, I was looking back at our national debt from 1980. At 1980, our national debt is money that the government takes, federal money that the government takes a loan to pay off whatever it is they're going to pay. So that's money that they're taking in. That's money that they take for loans. So in 1980, when Ronald Reagan was president, our national debt was $859 billion, and we have Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican from 1980 to 2021, and in that span, $859 billion has turned into $29 trillion of loan. So what's 1.3? What's $1.9 trillion to give out to people who need it? Now, I do say this though. One thing that Mitch McConnell does have that I do agree with him is that those people who are making $300,000 a year, they don't need a stimulus package. They don't need a stimulus deal. Those people who are making $100,000 a year, if they still have a job, they don't need a stimulus. Now, those who are not making enough, and they know who it is because they got paperwork and who makes what. Give the money to those, and if you're gonna keep giving that money concurrently, consecutively, then you do so because this is what we pay taxes for. What are you trying to say, Ray? I don't understand the comment. There will be three people. Well, we have to. This is why we have to stand up. This is why I don't believe in the Republican Party. I don't believe in the Democratic. I don't believe in none of them. They're all full of shit. All right. I believe in me. I believe in God. And if I can help somebody else in my way through life, then I'm going to do it. I'm not going to. If I was a senator, I would say I don't care about 1.3 trillion, that 1.9 trillion dollars. I want to give money out to those people who need the money the most. Those people who are struggling. And we're from the streets, people. So we know how to disperse this money, not to give it to every rugrat you think. No, you don't do that. You know how many people are out there who got SSI, Section 8, SSDI, they're getting disability, and yet they're still working on the books. How many people you know are like that? I know a few. All right. So how many people do you know that do that? And that's disgusting. And when I say I know a few, so I've heard stories with them. And I lived in Puerto Rico. I lived in states. I lived in New York, Puerto Rico not a state, but Puerto Rico, California, Florida. And people tell me their stories. I'm like, wow, really? And it gets me angry when they tell me this. They say it like with a smile on their face. And I'm like, don't you know what I mean? Inside me, like, aren't you ashamed of yourself that you're taking advantage of the system while other people who are struggling, you're taking away from people who really do need. And that's a shame. But that's a society that we live in. And it's, well, it doesn't matter whether you get Republicans or Democrats. I've seen Republicans do the same thing where they want people off of welfare. But at the end of the day, after the 4 years, nothing gets done. Same thing with Democrats. Nothing gets done. But Gray had a good idea with the housing. People in the hood, that's what they should do. I think that'll alleviate a lot of the pressure from HUD, the housing urban development, and it would incentivize these people to say, you know what, this is my own place. How beautiful can you say this is my own place? Okay, you can rent it just your own place, yeah, but it belongs to somebody else. You say this is my own place, or this is my apartment, this is my house, or this is great, and you can move forward. You move forward. You don't have to stay. You don't have to really stay there if you don't want to, but it's your own place. The point of life is not to stay stagnant. The point of life is to eat. The point of our lives is to evolve as human beings. That is the evolution of life. You know. So I appreciate your betting. You did a good point, man. With the buildings, we've all said that. Every state you go to, you see abandoned buildings here, but you go, why? Why can't the state take that? Why can't someone, donate? And donors, Bezos, Bill Gates, and all the people, Jennifer Lopez, all those people who donate money, they'll donate money, but you know that those are taxable. So at the end of the year, they get some of that money back. But you don't see. If I were rich, I would take all these buildings, and I see not all of them, but some few buildings, and I'll make them, and I will give it to the homeless, as long as there's no drugs inside the building, there is no drinking inside the building, none of that. You live a sober life. I would do that until you get on your feet and you get your own place, or there's renting or buying. That's what I would do. Tell them, okay, don't pay me rent, but you gotta pay your own light, you gotta pay your own gas, you gotta pay your own light, you gotta pay your own water. And they gotta do something, gotta work for something, right? The hardest part is the rent. So you don't pay me rent, but you pay for your light, you pay for this. I got diabetes, so that's something. There's a lot of things that we can do as a nation. There's a lot of things that we can do as a nation, because you see other countries do it. But I'm talking about the United States of America. There's a lot of things that we can do to eradicate homelessness. There's a lot of things that we could do to eradicate people going hungry. There's a lot of things that we could do to eradicate other things, but we choose not to. We're too caught up on different things in our lives or in society that we don't think, you know what? This person is struggling. Let me help that person out. And that's what kills us as a human being, and that's what kills us as people, as a society itself. So that's what it is. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys calling in. I'm not calling, I'm sorry, for you guys watching the show. I appreciate it. Tomorrow I will do another live, which is my day off. All right. So we'll do another live. Tomorrow we can talk. Let's talk about a lot of things. Let's get involved. Let's talk about how to make money. You can make a lot of money doing real estate. That's something that I would like to talk to you guys about. And it's free. Some of the courses, not courses, some of the things that are out there are free for you to do, and no money down. And that's the cool part about it. Thank you for watching my show. Enjoy the rest of your night or day or evening or weekend or weekday, whenever it is that you watch this video. This is King G House. Thank you very much. Peace.